Hey everyone, it's Hannah, and in this video I wanted to show you how to work the stitches for these colorful beginner crochet scarves. All of these scarves are made with the same pattern. They're all alternating half double crochet and half double slip stitch, but I worked into different loops for each of these versions. So this is working in the back loop only. This is the regular version where you're just working under both loops. And this is the front loop version. So I wanted to show you how to change up the stitch to get each of these three different looks. And the yarn that I use for these scarves is called Peyton's Alpaca Blend. And it's really great for scarves because it's nice and warm and thick, but it's also not quite as itchy as just, a straight up wool. It's a little bit more of an acrylic alpaca wool blend. And to make these scarves, I used a size J 6mm hook, and I needed about 2 skeins of these 3.5 ounce size balls to make one scarf. All right, so to get started, to make a scarf, I worked these scarves lengthwise, meaning I made a really long chain so that my stitches would run vertically instead of horizontally. So I made a chain that was about 60 inches long because I knew that I was going to be adding about 5 inches of tassels. So I chained 185. To get started, you're first gonna make a slip knot. And I usually like to just wrap my yarn around my hook and then pull through and make a knot like that. And just for this tutorial, I'm just gonna make a small practice swatch. So I am going to chain 10. All right, and then we're gonna start in the 3rd chain from the hook, and we're gonna work 1 row of half double crochet. So if you're counting down, this is the 1st chain from the hook, this is the 2nd, this is the 3rd. So we're gonna yarn over, insert our hook, and then yarn over and pull up a loop, and yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And then we're gonna do the same thing in the next stitch. Yarn over, insert your hook, then grab the yarn again and pull it back through that same space. Then you have 3 loops, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And we're going to do 1 half double crochet in each chain. All right, and now we're going to chain 2 and turn. So that's our 1 row of half double crochet. And now we're going to work a row of half double slip stitch. So this is the regular version where I'm just going to be inserting my hook into underneath these top 2 loops as if I was just working a normal stitch. So we're going to yarn over. I'm going to insert my hook again right into that third chain from the hook. So if you're counting down again, 1, 2, 3, insert your hook under both of those loops, pull up a loop. Now this time, instead of grabbing yarn and pulling it through all 3 loops, we're just going to pull this loop that we just pulled up right through these 2 loops that were already on our hook. So let me show you that again. Grab your yarn, insert it into the top of the stitch, pull up a loop, and then pull that loop right through the 2 loops that were already on your hook. Pull it up, and you'll see you kind of have to work 2 motions. When I've done a video of this stitch before, I had someone ask, you know, why can't you just grab it and quickly pull through the other 2 loops? Why are you pausing a little bit? And it's because once you do it, you'll kind of see you have to pull the loop up, and then you have to kind of rotate your wrist a little bit to get it through those 2 loops. All right, and then there's our last stitch. All right, and then we're going to chain 2 and turn. And now we're just going to work a row of half double crochet like we did at the beginning. So again, if you need to count down, do 1, 2, 3, start right in that first stitch. So now we're going to do the regular half double crochet where you pull up a loop and then yarn over and then pull through. Chain 2 and turn, and then now you would work another row of the half double slip stitch. So all you're doing the whole time, of course with your scarf you'll have these big long rows, so you won't be, you know, turning and switching as much. But once you get it going, it makes these really pretty lines every time you switch from the half double crochet to the half double slip stitch. Now I wanted to show you another modification, or just another version of that. So I've already worked 1 row of half double crochet, and in this one I'm going to show you what it's like working in the back loop only. So on the first row, it's just exactly the same. It's just 1 row of half double crochet, because when you're working into the chain, you know, there's only one place to put your hook. So there's no back loop or front loop distinction. So just start out again with a row of half double crochet, and then chain 2 and turn. And we're still going to, you know, work right into this first stitch, the 1, 2, 3, but this time we're going to insert our hook into the back loop only. So if you kind of turn your work up like this, this is your back loop. So you're going to yarn over and almost insert your hook right into the middle of the top of the stitch. And you're going to pull up and pull directly through those 2 loops. So So this is the half double slip stitch, but only working in the back loop. All right, there's our last stitch. Okay, and then chain 2 and turn. And then we're still gonna work into the back loop only when we work our row of regular half double crochet. So starting in that first stitch, yarn over, insert your hook into the back loop only, pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through all 3. And then you can see just right away that it makes that really pretty braid go across the front of it just by working in that back loop. So I love how just making a really simple modification like that can totally change the look. And then it makes these really fun, almost kind of knit looking braided lines. All right, now the last version is working into the front loop. So instead of working into this back loop, you're going to insert your hook up through just this front loop right here. So I've already worked 1 row of my regular half double crochet, and then starting in this first stitch, I'm going to yarn over and then insert my hook up through the middle. And then pull up and pull right through those 2 loops. So in the back, when we're working in the back loop, we're kind of inserting our hook down through the middle of the stitch, and when you're doing the front loop, you're going up through the middle of the top of that stitch. So yarn over, work only in the front loop, and pull right through for the half double slip stitch. And then chain 2, and then again start in that front stitch. Now we're going to do just front loop half double crochet, where we yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And this front loop version doesn't make quite as defined lines as the other 2 versions. But I still really like how it turned out. I think it just makes kind of a unique sort of more subtle V-shaped pattern that goes across the front. And then when they're all together, I think they look pretty cool. Okay, and before we go, just for anyone who is new to crochet and hasn't ever done a full project before, I just wanted to quickly show you how to incorporate a new skein of yarn. Since these scarves will use 2 of these skeins, I wanted to show you what happens when you run out of the first one and need to put the new one in. So ideally, if you can, you know, work it so that you switch at the end of the row, that, you know, will kind of help it look the best. But I know that with these big, long, since we're working the scarf lengthwise, it's super long, so sometimes that's hard to judge. So I'll kind of show you both ways. So if it happens that you're able to switch at the end of the row, you just start that last stitch and go all the way to the last step. So stop when you have 3 chains on your hook. Sorry, 3 loops on your hook. You are going to grab the new skein and wrap it around your hook like this and leave yourself probably about 6 inches on this other side. So you kind of have to hold it on your hook and then pull it through those 3 loops. So now we have, you know, kind of a lot of tails right now. So you're gonna cut the old skein and leave a tail that you can weave in later. And then you also have a tail from the new skein. But now you can just chain 2 and keep working with the new ball of yarn. So if it happens that you run out when you're in the middle of one of these huge long rows and you don't want to go, you know, and undo your work, you can also do it in the middle. You're just going to do the same thing. You're going to work all the way to the last step of the stitch and then pull through with the new yarn to finish the stitch. And then if you want, it can help to save you a little bit of time to crochet over those tails. So kind of lay them across your work and crochet over them. And I would only do that for a couple stitches, and then I would leave them out and you know, weave them in with a tapestry needle later so that they're a little bit more secure. And now when you are completely finished with your scarf, when it's your, you know, desired width, mine, I worked until it was about 5 inches wide. And when you finish your last stitch, I usually like to just pull up a big loop, probably about 6 inches, and then just cut it down here. And then you're gonna pull through and make that tight. A lot of people also like to chain 1 before they do that, before they pull up and pull out a loop. It's completely up to you, whatever you prefer. And then I use a big tapestry needle to weave in all my extra tails. So, and I'm just gonna kind of go, there's not necessarily a perfect way to weave in ends. We kind of like to just go in and out of the stitches so that it hides the yarn and that it also keeps it secure. So I kind of like to go in and out of every stitch individually. I know my mom, she likes to go through like 3 or 4 stitches at a time and then switch directions. So again, it's kind of your personal preference. The important thing is to kind of just change direction a little bit, go up and down, just so we make sure that that yarn doesn't come loose. Luckily with this yarn, it's pretty, you know, it's not very slippery, so it's not really gonna go anywhere. So, and then when you feel like it's woven in there, you can just cut it right close, and then it just kind of disappears into your scarf. The last thing that I wanted to show you is how to add tassels. And the easy way that I like to add tassels is I take these two long 10-inch pieces of yarn and fold them in half. And then I like to kind of stick my crochet hook up where I want them to go. And then I wrap the yarn around my hook like that. And I pull those two through so that I have a loop like this. And then I'm gonna pull the ends through the loop. And then just pull those nice and tight. And then you have a really cute tassel. All right, here's just a quick look at my finished scarf with all the tassels on it. So thank you so much for coming to watch this video. I hope that you enjoy working with all of these stitches. And if you end up making a scarf, please come share a picture with us on Facebook or Instagram. We would love to see. And the full written pattern for all of these scarves is on daisyfarmcrafts.com. So if you need any more information, be sure to look in the description for that link. So thank you so much. Have a great day.